Hello, my name is Rory Nolan. I'm from Mindfulness and I'm bringing you this video today with the intention of giving you practical ways in which you can bring the practice of mindfulness into your everyday lives. In our previous video, which I will link in the description below if you want to take a look at it, our main focus was on the breath through the practice of meditation, whereby in this meditation we familiarize ourselves with the present moment and with our very own mindful state of relaxation, of awareness and of stillness. In today's video we're going to look at ways in which we can further this and bring this state of presence into all that we do, into our everyday routine tasks and activities. So that with continued practice, your whole life becomes a meditation in itself. Essentially just a simple practice of peace in both your inner and outer worlds. So then you might ponder or ask the question, well, how? What can I do today, now, that will help me to bring more mindfulness, to bring the practice of mindfulness into my everyday routine? You know, I've got things to be doing, I've got more important things to be doing. I don't have the time, I can never make the time, it's boring. I can't do it right, I could never do it right. So the list of thinking goes on, whilst the irony is that the answer lies within the question itself. And that is that when it comes to mindfulness, it's not about what we do, but instead how we go about doing it. Mindfulness is about being present and aware in all that we do, rather than to be a prisoner of our own thoughts in all that we do. Mindfulness is about being rather than doing. After all, we are human beings, remember, not human doings. And when I refer to doing in this context, it simply is the act of going about or carrying out our daily routine tasks or activities without any or very little conscious awareness. So, take for example, you go to have your shower in the morning, and instead we'll say of becoming aware of the beautiful smells, the lovely aromas and fragrances that arise from the soaps in the shower basin, or even just to notice the feelings of warmth and comfort that come with the water as it touches and caresses your skin and trickles down the body to your feet. You're already miles off into the what ifs of the future or the if onlys of the past. Everywhere and anywhere between the argument you had a couple of weeks back with your friend or your partner or loved one, to what you're going to have for dinner this evening, to how your weekend is going to pan out. Will I get by? Do we have enough food? How will I manage the kids this weekend? Oh my God, what's on TV? Is there anything on I've not left to watch on Netflix? Do we have enough money? So then, as I've previously mentioned, the list of thinking goes on, and then we're back into these endless and continuous loops of thinking, loops of our own thought patterns. This way of doing, of living our lives, is known as the mind's automatic pilot mode. And it has come to being through the formation of thought habits that have been imprinted in our brains through repetition. It is a direct product of our evolution, in the sense that our brains are constantly looking for ways that they can create or form new habits so that they can serve energy. In this way of living, of doing, our brains become smaller, so we have less risky childbirths and higher survival rates. The only issue here is that although our brains, our natural biological makeup, are doing their best for us to survive, to stay alive, we're here to thrive and to live life to the fullest of its capacity, to live alongside the natural components of our brains, our minds, our psyche, and not within them. Another prime example of this, a classical example, would be that of your journey to work in the morning, or college or school. So you get up, you take your shower, you get dressed, you have your breakfast, you have a chat or a conversation with your loved one, your partner, your housemate or family member. More than likely in this day and age, you scroll through the phone a little and boom, you're there. Just like that. You're in work again. You don't fully recall half of what happened that morning. You don't remember what it was like getting up, what your shower felt like, what your breakfast tasted or even smelled like. In fact, you don't even remember what was really going on within that conversation that you had with your partner or friend, because you were in and out of that as well. You recall bits and pieces of getting to work, but you know and you're certain that your legs carried you there, your bicycle brought you there, or your car, your vehicle took you to work. But lo and behold, you're there all over again. And this way of living becomes somewhat all too familiar, like a Groundhog Day in itself, you could call it. So, although it may seem harmless for you to be thinking within these given situations and experiences within your life, just always remember that if you're already, we'll say, thinking of the dessert before even tasting the main or finishing the main course, that it comes at an additional price. And that price is your life. The life that is happening right and directly in front of your own two eyes. Head, shoulders, knees and toes. But yeah, when we look at it in this way, it becomes quite an expensive meal. So mindfulness then can be seen as the opposite to this automatic pilot mode, as a means of disengaging and freeing ourselves from the autopilot and decoupling ourselves from the all too familiar habitual thoughts, and instead stepping into a space within the present moment, a space of awareness, where we live our lives through our sensory perception, through our five senses, through what we see, feel, hear, taste and smell, and not what or how our mind perceives things to be. We live in awareness in our own state of being here. Mindfulness allows for us to step then out of thinking and into living. It opens us up to the wholeness and the connectedness of our one true reality. All else outside of this is an example of what we've previously just mentioned, our own thought patterns, habits, our judgments, our beliefs, our conditioning, our perception of reality, our mind's perception of reality. So, in that sense, as a result of my upbringing, my education, my conditioning, the tools I've been given to live with, my core beliefs, my belief systems, my core values and morals, my perception of reality would be a universe apart from my neighbours, we'll say, or my friends, my family members, co-workers. And the reason that I'm bringing this to the forefront and highlighting it is because that if and when we continue to become consumed within this way of living, in thinking, in our own little world, through the natural components of our mind and how it operates, we run ourselves at a major risk of causing and accumulating more and more stress. Most of the time, unknowingly to ourselves. But always remember, there's no real such thing as stress, only stressful thinking. So, if left unchecked, the mind, this accumulated stress, may cause further dis-ease within the body, dis-ease within our lives. If you break down the word dis-ease of the mind, of the body, of our own state of being. This stress then has the potential to further manifest into physical ailments, into illnesses within the body. And this can be, without a doubt, very harmful to our physical health, our mental health, our emotional health, our spiritual health, our overall well-being. So the moral of the story here is that life isn't just an object to be simply judged and boxed up, and then we lock it up and we throw away the lock and key and that's it. Life is precious. Life is to be heard, to be smelled, to be tasted. Life is to be seen, to be felt, to be experienced. So, how can we experience life in this way? How can I apply this to my situation, to my life, my lifestyle? What definitively is mindfulness? Mindfulness is simply the awareness that comes from paying attention in the present moment and without judgment. Now, there are two key aspects for you to be aware of within that definition, and those are the awareness, or sometimes known as energy, and that of the without judgment or non-judgment. So non-judging is one of the 7 pillars of mindfulness, one of the 7 attitudinal approaches. And it simply means that when we guide or bring our attention to what is happening within the present moment, within our present experience, that we suspend and drop all of the automatic judgments that our minds make. So we are letting go of all mind-made activity within each given experience. There was this idea that was floating around when I was putting this video together, and it was the idea of a battery, but specifically a AAA battery, and this might actually help you to remember this throughout your practice. As for a battery, it is a source of energy like life itself. It has both positive and negative sides to it, like ourselves. But this battery, this source of energy, comes with a set of instructions, the 3 A's, and these instructions are how to utilize this source of energy to the fullest of its potential. The first A stands for attention. So are you paying attention? What are you paying attention to within the present? The second is your attitude. It stands for attitude. So are you applying your attitude of non-judgment, of non-judging? And last but not least, the last A stands for awareness. So what are you becoming aware of within that given experience? Now we could go on further as to choosing our thoughts in referring to the positive and negative sides to it, but we'll leave that for another day. Now then, there are three types of judgment. When we judge something as good, we grasp onto it, we try for more of it, we want and desire more of it, so we chase it. When we judge something as bad, we run away from it, we push it away, we fear it, we resist it, so it persists. When we judge something as neutral, it becomes boring or uninteresting. So we completely deprive ourselves of that said label or judgment from our experience of life itself. There's also one key factor for you to remember here within judgment, and that is to be careful within your practice. And when I say careful, I mean to be careful not to judge the judge, not to judge the inner critic. So just allow for it to be part of the experience, and slowly but surely, with lack of attention, it'll chill out a little and cool down a little bit more each time and time again. Also, never get this inner critic, this judge, this thought or thought pattern in itself confused with who you truly are. For this judge is just another self-fabricated psychological identity. You might have often heard the term the ego. So just be aware of it and befriend it. Allow it to be part of your life. Allow it to be part of your practice, we'll say. And be gentle with yourself and with your practice. Learn to have patience with yourself and within your practice. It goes without saying, Rome wasn't built in a day. And mindfulness, alongside with a variety of other practices out there, operates in this same fashion. I'm sure you're all familiar with the fact that anything good in life comes with practice, with time, with effort, with energy, with more practice, with attention, with more practice and practice. And mindfulness is no exclusion of this. There's this idea within our world, our societies at the moment, of the quick fix. So we have a problem, we find a solution, we take it, we use it, and voila, life is la-di-da again, perfect. I'll never have a care in the world ever again. But it's not as simple as that. Mindfulness doesn't mean that we sit down on a pillow, we meditate, it turns into a cloud and takes us off, we float on the cloud and everything's going to be handy dandy again, perfect, we'll never have to worry ever again. Mindfulness is about living our lives day by day and living our lives moment by moment, taking each day moment by moment, taking both the good with the bad. Mindfulness is a tool to manage and alleviate our own levels of stress. It is a tool to navigate our lives in a more peaceful, aware and content manner, even in the most lowest and crucial of times in our lives. Mindfulness is also dose dependent, so the more practice we put in, the more we get out. So in the same way that you would build muscle or become bigger, stronger through going to the gym or exercise, and the same way that you become more creative through the practice of art or music, mindfulness operates in this same way. And it's actually known as the mindfulness muscle is what we create. It's a new neural pathway for our new thought habit, our mindfulness thought pattern and habit. So with continued practice, it actually becomes more natural and more easy for us to be mindful and present within our lives. So the benefit for you all watching here, for you here at home, is that when you continue to bring mindfulness into your life, when you continue to live life within this way, that you actually expand not only upon your own awareness of your life, of the present moment, but you expand upon your own harbour of harmony, we'll say, your centre of peace, a new way of being in life. And there are abundance of other benefits that come with practicing mindfulness. One of the most important ones, in which we've touched upon today, is that you now will have the ability to manage and decrease your own levels of stress, of anxiety and depression. And I mean, that's huge. Under the notion that a wandering mind is an unhappy mind, with regular practice and meditation, you'll become more contented and happy within your life. Mindfulness is also known to improve and boost our immune system. It is known to help lessen the symptoms of cancer, of heart disease, and of numerous other infectious diseases. One of my personal favourite is that, I'm going to take a drink here, sorry. One of my personal favourite is that mindfulness may reduce aging at a cellular level, as it promotes chromosomal health and resilience. And I actually stumbled across an article not so long ago. It was a scientific study carried out by the University College of Davis, and it was on the practice of mindfulness. And within this scientific study, they found that there was a 50% reduction in the release of cortisol within the body through the practice of mindfulness. Now, when we are under stress, when we're in stress, both the hormones cortisol and adrenaline are released into the body as a result. When both these hormones are released together, if they become mixed, they create somewhat of a cocktail, you could call it. And this cocktail actually has the ability to age us. to tear away and destroy our healthy muscle and bone tissues. Now, on the other hand, if we continue to live a life of being present, of being aware, of meditation, we flip the switch in the sense that we actually produce and release more serotonin, the feel-good chemical, and melatonin, the relaxing hormone. So not only do we feel better within ourselves, our health and our well-being, but serotonin actually has quite the opposite effect, in that it has the ability to replenish our own brain cells, our neurons. So then the choice is yours. Which will you consume? Which will you choose? Will you have the blue pill or the red pill? Let's put it this way. What would you like to drink? What's your drink of choice? Will you keep on sipping on the poison? Or would you like to drink from the fountain of truth? Would you like to taste the antidote? But just be aware to really taste and feel what that drink is like when you're having it, just to be aware of the sensations associated with it. Don't forget that. Anyway, on that note, I invite you all, I welcome you all to the practice of being present within this sacred space, within this very moment. If it helps for you to remember your AAA battery and to apply that to the practice throughout. And then, when you're ready, just simply tuning into your visual sense now. So what are you seeing around you within this present moment? It may be as simple as the colours on the walls, noticing the detail of the wallpaper, or perhaps even the details on your skin or the hair or fingernails there. Remembering to drop all critical and judgmental thoughts when they arise, letting go of all the mind-made activity, and just allowing for it to be as part of the experience. Perhaps noticing your thoughts just as clouds passing on by in the sky. So now, what are you hearing, we'll say, tuning into your audio sense? What sounds are in your environment? Is it the sound of the neighbour's dog barking down the road, or the lawnmower outside? Or maybe is it the birds chirping or singing, or just as simple as the kettle boiling on the inside? Whatever those sounds may be for you right now, just noticing them as just that, just as sounds. What are you feeling right now? How are you feeling? What feelings are you becoming aware of? Are you picking up on the feelings or sensations of temperature within the room, the warmth or coolness within or outside of the body? Are your feelings good or bad, or maybe even relaxed or at peace? Whatever your feelings are, just allowing them to be within this awareness without the need to identify, to label, or to react to these feelings. What sort of smells are in the air? What sort of aromas, scents are in the air right now? Is it the smell of the fresh cut grass? The home cooking? Or is it maybe the smell or fragrance of your own perfume or favourite aftershave that strikes you most prominent? Just noticing that. And then lastly, what are your taste buds picking up on in this present moment? What sort of tastes are happening right now for you within your experience? Is it the taste of, or the aftertaste, we'll say, of your favourite tea or coffee? The old chocolate Easter egg or two? Or is it just the simple taste of life? Of being present right here and right now? Whatever or however the whole of this process may be for you right now. Again, just putting all judgments aside and giving yourself the permission to just be here, to be simply here and right now. And well done to you. Congratulate yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a pat on the back for having given yourself the opportunity to simply be, to be aware and to experience life in this way. And thank you. Thank you for sharing your presence with all of us here. Thank you so much. If perhaps you're looking to deepen this practice, nature is actually a great place to experience this fullness and richness to life that we've talked about. Just whenever you get the opportunity, if you get the opportunity, it's definitely a really good show. So then, how about the next time you go to cook up your dinner or cook up your favourite meal, we'll say. And instead of running from pillar to post from last week into next week, you actually become aware of the lovely smells, the fragrances that arise, the scents that come with preparing the meal, the fire alarm. The fire alarm coming on in the kitchen because of the smoke sometimes. So yeah, back to the smells and preparing the meal, and then you sit down, and when you go to have your meal, instead of just gobbling it, throwing it down, you actually experience and explore all of the colours and textures and tastes that come with actually eating your food, actually eating the food. So how about the next time you go to have a chat or a conversation with your partner, your loved one, or your child for that matter, and instead of constantly scrolling through the phone or shifting from one tab to the next, you actually listen to them. So you sit there with them, or you just be there with them. You look at them in the eyes, you connect with them, and you listen to them wholeheartedly. You listen to them as if you had never listened to someone in your life ever before in this way. Because although at times these words, these conversations and chats that you have from time to time may seem uninteresting to you, we'll say, there may come a day potentially where you'll wake up and you'll look back, or you'll look up at those thoughts and say, oh wow, that chat, that conversation, that time in my life was the single most important, significant and special time in the whole of my entire life. So just to be aware of that. And now, just before this video comes to an end, I'd like to share with you a poem. It's a poem that I give out on the first night of our courses. It is called Walk Slowly by Dana Falls. So here it goes. It only takes a reminder to breathe, a moment to be still. And just like that, something in me settles, softens, makes space for imperfection. The harsh voice of judgment drops to a whisper, and I remember again that life isn't a relay race, that we will all cross the finish line, that waking up to life is what we were born for. As many times as I forget, catch myself charging forward without even knowing where I'm going, that many times I can make the choice to stop, to breathe and be, and walk slowly into the mystery. So I hope you all enjoyed that. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and that you can take hopefully a new practice from it, the practice of mindfulness, and bringing mindfulness to life within your own lives. Don't forget to live, laugh and love. I want to thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this experience. And above all else, happy being. Cheers folks. Thanks so much. Take care.